Our third leg of this year's trip to the west starts us off departing our campsite at Wallace State Park. We're near the town of Cameron in central Missouri, where we continue west along the Route 36 corridor. Over breakfast, we once again looked at the weather forecast. It's springtime in the plains, and we learn about a large unstable front moving from south-central Kansas with high winds, hail, heavy rain, and a high likelihood of tornadoes in the forecast.
Leaving our campsite and heading to Manhattan, Kansas, and praying that we don't get bad weather. I'm going to be looking at the weather reports.
Moreover, this front is heading towards central and northern Missouri, our current location. While we had planned to see more of the historical sites along the Route 36 corridor, we decided instead to head west as fast as possible, cross the Missouri River into northeast Kansas, and hopefully stay to the northwest of the coming front. Unfortunately, we'll miss the General John J. Blackjack Pershing State Historic Site. General Pershing was the commander of the U.S. forces in World War I. We'll also miss the Pony Express National Museum, the Walter Cronkite Memorial, the Jesse James Home, and the Remington Nature Center, all in the city of St. Joseph. Instead, it's mostly a drive day for us today. In St. Joseph, we stop in to do chores, get our laundry done, and stock up on groceries.
Well, we're going to be crossing the Missouri River to go into Kansas.
After crossing the Missouri, we head into northeastern Kansas. It's starting to look more like the wide open spaces that this region of the country is known for.
Farmland and prairie.
This section of Kansas is actually a large glaciated region, so we encounter some rolling sections before we get to the plains and wheat fields.
We're going to stay at the Army Corps of Engineers camp in Rolling here.
Just past the city of Troy, we get off U.S. Highway 36 and head south toward our campsite for the evening on the shores of Perry Lake, just northeast of Topeka. Based on the updated forecast, we should be able to make camp and set up for the evening just as the edge of the storm front arrives. Last night was really windy, really stormy, howling is all I can say. We make good time going along the north side of Topeka by taking U.S. Highway 24. We're generally following the Kansas River floodplain, which makes for fertile soil for farming here.
There's the Cargill huge grain elevator, and there's one over there. We're heading into a town called Wamego, where the Wizard of Oz Museum is at, and we're going to go check out that museum. Yeah, this is out.
We have two must-see stops along the way today: the Oz Museum and then the Eisenhower Presidential Library, Museum and Home in the town of Abilene.
The Oz Museum.
Hey, we'll take it. A nice parking spot right in front of the museum. Yep, we're off to see the wizard. Well, hello, Toto. This museum is sure to take us back to our childhood. Like many, we watched the musical film The Wizard of Oz, produced by MGM in 1939. Yes, that's right. The Wizard of Oz movie was released over 85 years ago. And a novel by L. Frank Baum, on which the movie is based, was written in 1900, 125 years ago. We're introduced to the film characters as we head into the exhibits. Here's the Tin Man, portrayed by actor Jack Haley.
The mayor.
I forgot the mayor. What was he?
He came out.
Judy Garland plays the lead character role as Dorothy, shown here alongside her dog Toto. The dog's real name was Terry. Additional roles include Frank Morgan as the Wizard, Ray Bolger as the Scarecrow, and Bert Lauer as the Cowardly Lion. Margaret Hamilton is the Wicked Witch of the West. Adding to the fantasy aura of the film and the story is the elaborate and colorful clothing and outfits worn by the actors, each making a statement and immortalizing the characters in movie history. And who can forget the scene where the Good Witch, Glinda, tells Dorothy that she always had the power to return to Kansas, using the ruby slippers by clicking her heels 3 times and repeating the words, "There's no place like home." The Wizard of Oz was a huge success and was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. The iconic song, Over the Rainbow, won the Best Original Song Award, and the overall music from The Wizard of Oz won the Best Original Score Award. Additionally, the Academy Juvenile Award was presented to Judy Garland. The 1956 television broadcast premiere of the film on CBS reintroduced it to the public. According to the U.S. Library of Congress, it is the most seen film in movie history. In 1989, it was selected by the Library of Congress as one of the first 25 films for preservation in the United States National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. It was also ranked in Variety magazine's list of 100 greatest movies of all time. We take a seat in the Wizard of Oz Theater to wrap up our visit.
Unexplainable journey into the outer stratosphere.
Well, Dorothy, there's definitely no place like home. And the best of all, we are truly in Kansas. Coming up into the balloon. Our visit at the Oz Museum has certainly been a trip back to our childhood. Wamego's 15-acre city park sits just down the street from the museum, so before we head on down the road toward Abilene, we stop there for a late lunch and a stroll. The park features a small lake with a wooden bridge and walking trails. There is an old Dutch mill, a stone windmill dating back to 1879. There is also a small children's train track and train depot. It operates 3 days each week, but unfortunately not today. Looks like Toto has joined us for his afternoon walk. You can also stroll back in history walking through the Wamego Historical Museum and Prairie Town Village, a collection of authentic buildings from the 1800s. Quite relaxing, a perfect way to conclude our visit to the town of Wamego. Time to hop in the van and head on down the road. Taking Kansas State Highway 18 west out of town and on toward Abilene is about an hour drive. We've located the Covered Wagon RV Park just south of the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum. We'll enjoy a great overnight there and then visit the museum the following day.
Okay, off to the Eisenhower Presidential Museum and Library in Abilene.
Our first stop is the Visitor Center to obtain maps and information, watch an orientation film, and to purchase museum tickets for the day. We also note there is a well-stocked gift shop, so we'll definitely come back at the end of our visit and pick up some souvenirs. Dwight D. Eisenhower was born in Denison, Texas on October 14, 1890, the third of 7 sons of David Jacob and Ida Elizabeth Stover Eisenhower. The family moved back to Abilene, Kansas in 1892. After graduating from Abilene High, Eisenhower entered the United States Military Academy at West Point in June of 1911. Nicknamed from his childhood, Ike served in the military over the next 3 decades, ultimately becoming a 5-star general of the Army in World War II. His military life is given in great detail in the museum's extensive exhibits. Just look at West Point's class of 1915, of which Ike was one of many who went on to significant roles in World War II. While sports and education was his initial motivation, he found his calling, to serve his nation in the Army. Ike's first post was at Fort Sam Houston as a 2nd lieutenant to continue his military training. At Camp Meade, Maryland, Ike worked alongside George Patton to develop groundbreaking tank battle strategy, which apparently was not initially well received by the current military leaders. Nevertheless, the art of modern warfare continued to develop and was instrumental in the Allied victories in World War II, and then continued to play a strategic role in the Cold War and subsequent regional conflicts. Some of his many accomplishments during his tenure include serving as the chief military aide to General Douglas MacArthur, Army Chief of Staff, and then assigned to General MacArthur as assistant military advisor to the Philippine government. Then in April of 1942, he was appointed Assistant Chief of Staff in charge of the Operations Division for General George C. Marshall. In quick succession, Eisenhower was designated Commanding General, European Theater, and then promoted to Lieutenant General, the Commander-in-Chief, Allied Forces in North Africa. Ike was appointed Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces, and then on that fateful day, on June 6, 1944, commanded the forces of the Normandy invasion. Ike served 2 terms as President of the United States, brought armistice to the Korean War, promoted atoms for peace, dealt with the crisis in Lebanon, Suez, Berlin, and Hungary, established the U.S. Information Agency, created the Federal Council on Aging, saw Alaska and Hawaii become states, authorized the St. Lawrence Seaway, and the interstate highway system. And then signed a bill creating the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA. Ike passed away on March 28, 1969, at the age of 78, at the Walter Reed Army Hospital in Washington, D.C. His remains were interred here on April 2, 1969, at the Place of Meditation on the grounds of the Eisenhower Center here in Abilene. Across from the museum is the Eisenhower Presidential Library. There is a second-floor gallery to view some exhibits, but most of the library space is used to hold vast quantities of books and reference material, some 26 million pages worth. The reading room and research areas are open for on-site research, but are accessible by appointment only. This 11-foot-high bronze statue of General Eisenhower is entitled Champion of Peace, a very fitting tribute.
The Visitor Center.
The Eisenhower Presidential Library, Museum and Boyhood Home was just voted as the top winner in Newsweek's 2025 Reader's Choice Awards for Best Presidential Attraction. As we learned and were reminded in our visit today, Eisenhower's life and service had a profound impact on the United States and the world.
Yeah. Historic city of Abilene. So much to do here. As the train station.
Old West.
Old West
Setting.
Corn and wheat.
The weather report for the next few days show a line of storms moving from the southwest to northern Kansas. Well, that works. We thus head directly south from Abilene on Kansas State Highway 15, and then take U.S. Highway 56 west toward Hutchison, Kansas.
Then there's corn.
Our overnight stay is at Sandhill State Park, just a few miles northeast of Hutchison. We have apparently picked a campsite right next to a pair of nesting birds, and they make no attempt to hide their displeasure with our selection.
I'm sorry, we're not going to disturb your nest. We're just sitting here chilling. Okay. We have this bug that's in love with our van right there. Wonder when he'll fly off. He's sunbathing.
Today we are heading to Hutchison, Kansas to visit a longtime friend from my childhood when I was living in Wichita, Kansas in the late 60s. We'll be meeting up with Mike and his wife Glenda. I last saw Mike when my family moved from Wichita in 1970. And I haven't seen him in some 55 years. Mike and I are best friends from junior high, and I look forward to reconnecting and meeting his wife Glenda for the first time. But before that, we'll wait for this train, and also wait until the next episode to continue our trip and our adventures to the west. We'll see you then.
It's a passenger train. Union Pacific, Hudson, St. Louis, Idaho.
Very nice.
Wow, that's a nice train.
Yeah. Local service.